Okay, so this is a 2013 Ford Focus SE hatchback. We're going to be replacing the emergency brake cable, which looks like this. This was about 60 bucks at O'Reilly's. Somebody was going to charge me $600 and something to do this, so we're doing it ourselves. So it'll be super simple. So you got my impact. If you don't have an impact, then drop this back down, slightly unloosen them with a breaker bar. I didn't make this very clear. So what you want to do is, while the car is sitting and resting and your tires are still on it, before you jack it up, what you're going to want to do is take your 19mm with a breaker bar, and you're going to loosen very slightly, just enough, the lug nuts are on both sides of the back of the car, so both wheels on the back. And then jack it up, and then you can take off the lug nuts. If you have an impact, you don't have to do this. You can just jack up the car and take them off. The Uggas will just take the lug nut off, no problem. And then once you do that, lift it back up. You should have a lug nut lug nuts are 19mm. So I got my impact one here. So once you take the wheels off, which are right there, right here is your emergency brake line on both sides, right here and on the other side. So my left passenger back did not work. This is where it should be. This is where it's at. It's kinked, so something inside of this froze, therefore it didn't work. I want to have both of them because that one is kind of a little wonky. So anyway, as you can see, this is going to go down. This is super simple for everybody. Look, you just got to follow this, okay? So this is going to be your first point that you have to take off. So there's this little tab right there. You're going to push that in, and then it'll slide out right here. I'll give you a little closer, like that. And on the other side, you got the same thing right there. And please make a note, this one's black, the other one's white. On the new one, they're exactly the same, so make sure that you...
And this is what you put in front of your tire, just in case.
Yep.
To block it.
Yep, so if we go underneath, I had 2-ton jacks. I'm using 4-ton. I also have a safety right here, so that if the car or these do fail, I have an extra one here. And I will also be putting that on that side to jack it up, just to make sure. So just be safe about this, guys. Don't get hurt. All right, so if we go underneath real quick, I'm gonna show you here. This is our line. So we're gonna have to take this bolt out right here. I'm gonna figure out what millimeter that is. I'm gonna pause this in a second and figure that out. And this is gonna come off. And same thing over on that side, but you can see that the hole is going to be a little different. It's right there, my finger's at going in. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so this one right here, so here's your rotor. Okay, so right here, this is a 10mm. If it focuses for me. I'm sure you can see that. So that's 10mm. So we're going to take this out real quick. You can see it. It's a little rusted, so we got to give it a little jiggle. Hold on one second. So we're going to take this one out. Okay, so this is where that bolt was. There's a clip as well. Pull that down. Same thing right here. Same 10mm. The clip goes right there. Just pull it down. There'll be some rust. Watch your eyes. So then this is where the cable goes. So we have a bolt right here that we have to take off. The way that this works is you unbolt this, and then it lifts up and out of the hole right here, up and out. And then this as well, I will take this apart and pull this out. So again, we're not going to reuse this, so it's okay if you have to break this to get it out. That's totally fine, because there's new ones for this, okay? Because you're on a frame, so it won't matter. All right, so we're going to do that. Take this bolt out, which I believe is also a 10mm. Let's just double check just to make sure. Nope, that one's much smaller. It's probably more like an 8 or a 7. I'm going to figure out this millimeter size, and we're going to take this out and then take this out. And again, this is mirrored on the other side as well, but I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so this was an 8mm right here. This is literally just put in like, here, let's back this up just a little bit so you can see better. All right, so 8mm. And like I said, this literally just slid in So all I did was I just pushed up and it popped out. So now it's wiggling. And then I'm gonna get this one apart real quick. So when taking this one off, you also have a bolt here as well. I believe that's an 8mm as well. It's actually a 7. I had to pull out my other box of sockets for this, and we're gonna take that out, and that should just slide out. If we zoom in here, this little tab right here pushes in. I'll show you that here in a second. This pushes in like that. You see that? Pushed in. And that's how you push it out. So once I remove this, I will take this out. So I removed the bolt. Now I push this in, so now it's in the sleeve. A little easier way that I just found. Grab the cable behind here and just go like that. And just literally just pull it that way. And it pops right out. So now that we got everything else loose on this side, focus, thank you. We're gonna go over to here. I'm gonna zoom out real quick. So what this is, so this thing right here, we're going to take pliers and we're going to pull it this way, okay? So the way that I do that is I put a plier, zoom in for me, focus, focus. So I put my plier here and I put it here. So there and there, and then I squeeze, that releases this, and then I take my other pliers and I pull this out and around like that, okay? So again, we have to loosen the tension on this. So this part right here has to be moved this way. Apologize that it's not crystal clear. And then this comes up and around like that. So if you guys can see that, I got my pliers. You're actually gonna go on the back side of that right there. It's just like this. Okay. And then you're gonna squeeze this. Oh, hold up, I gotta get it repositioned here. Whoa, really hard to do. Should have brought my GoPro. Okay, and then you're gonna squeeze just like that, and see how that moves it back. And then all that's gonna happen is that little piece is gonna go up and over that little ridge right there, and it's gonna pop out. Okay, so piece is now out. Keep in mind, if both of yours are attached, this is going to be most likely a lot harder to do. Just keep in mind though that this tension shouldn't be that bad. And again, you just grip it right here, here and here, and squeeze. And then this literally just pulls back like you saw, and then you literally take the other piece, the other pliers, and then just grab the end of this and pull it around. Just like that. So this event used to fit right there, right? Okay, and then wiggle this. And it should just come right out. And that's where we're gonna put the new one, okay? Okay. So now that that's done, we're gonna move this out of the way, which is now below there, and we're gonna keep going this way. Okay, so we're back underneath. This is our brake cable, okay, for reference, right here. And it goes underneath the heat shield here, and then goes this way, toward the front of the car. This will have to get removed. I will do that in a second. First, I have to take out all the screws. So typically, this would be where this would be hooked onto your heat shield. If yours is like mine and has over 200,000 miles and you're in Michigan, this thing is practically falling apart and you had to metal screw all of this to the frame. So that's what's gonna have to happen. I'm gonna unremove I have one in this corner, and I have one right there, and then another one that's behind this bracket, and then a couple on this side as well. That should be like right about there, right there. And then this is going to get, don't worry about it, this is just aluminum. You're just gonna take this, you're gonna peel it back, you're gonna peel this back, peel that back, and then we're gonna take this off. I believe it looks like a 12. Luckily I have a 12mm socket right here. Nope, I believe, okay, it's probably a 10. Where's my 10 at? There's my 10. Let's try a 10. Okay, 10mm fits. So 10mm socket, 2 bolts. Take this off as well. So like I said, I'm gonna peel everything back, take that off. Okay, so I've unscrewed this. I'm gonna back up a little bit and give you guys some more room. Okay, so we got, just for reference, this is where our wheel bearing is. So I got stuff in my eyes. Okay, so if we turn this way, all right, you got your exhaust coming this way, and you got your heat shield right here and right here. So this one right here is all one piece. As you can see, I've already started to slide it over this, and I'm gonna slide this out, okay? It's gonna be kind of hard to get back in, but it's the only way to get into right here. So if I just bend this down really quick. Okay, so this is your brake line. You got one coming from this way, which is the passenger, and then you got the other one. Where's that? I'm sorry, so they actually meet up right about in here. But where we're trying to get at is literally, okay, so this is where your muffler's at. You're gonna go about 8 inches right about here. It's literally right here. So what I'm having to do, hopefully this is a good enough view for you guys. Oh, it's a Charlie horse. Let's move this out of the way. You're gonna wanna take this whole heat shield out. I was thinking I could just cut this. So just cut it like right here, all the way around, and then just slide this back in. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep this all as one, so that way the exhaust never melts my brake line. So I'm going to pull this out, again, from underneath here, because it's like this over your exhaust. Pulling this out. Alright, so you can see I've pulled the heat shield down to the ground. And again, there's the muffler, and that's right where we're going, right there. That's what we're gonna be pulling. So we got some more stuff we gotta disconnect, but this is what we're getting to right there. So again, that's where your muffler, or that's not the muffler, that's the part of the exhaust. This is where we're getting to, okay? And then if you look right here, if I can show it, right there, we got clips, okay? We got clips on this side, and we got clips on the other side, which is right here.
You want this to lay on?
And then we also got this clip right here. Oh yeah, that'd be great. So they gotta take this clip out right here. All right, and then that clip, where is it? That clip right there. So again, it's super simple, guys. All we're doing is just following the emergency brake cable, okay? And then we got this. Just remember the orientation. So the ball is facing downward, like so. And you can see which one is definitely the one I was using and which one's definitely seized. All right, so I'm gonna take these clips off, and then we're gonna do this part together. Okay, so I just got the first pin off right here. All I did was I made sure to get the flathead screwdriver as close to this as possible. So I literally wouldn't, almost until I was touching that, and then I slowly pried it off, okay? And then that's how these come off. So they have, you can't see it, but I can show the new one in the light. They got little ribs in there that are faced outward. So that way when you put it on that, it holds. Probably gonna clean that up with a wire brush too. So we're gonna do the same thing on this one. I'm gonna make it move so I can, if you guys see here. Okay, so what we're gonna do, stick this in here, and we're just gonna lightly pry. Oh, sorry. I seem to be very weak at the moment. I want to get anything in here. Come on. Oh, it's a lot of rust and dirt. I'm sorry guys, this isn't the most, but essentially that's what you want to do. I hope it's focusing, at least a little bit, so you guys can see here. Essentially, I'm sticking it in that, and I'm twisting And I'm pushing. If you had a chisel, you could put the chisel in there and pry it out easier. It's really hard to do with one hand, so I'm going to twist this one out. I'm gonna let you know if it was hard or not. Okay, so once you do that, congratulations. You have, this is the second one, super simple. You just put it in there, twist, it pops out. When I used both hands, turned it, just came right out. So congratulations, you have one entire side done.
Oh, you got them all out?
Yep.
What else? They got little pins and twists?
No, you guys did everything except for what we're about to do after I'm done with the other side. So I'll walk through the other side with you guys just in case. I know this video is kind of long, but the other one, you're just able to see a lot better. Yeah. Alright, so essentially this is what underneath your car is going to look like from far away view. As you can see, we've got the left side all the way ready. And now we just need to do the right side, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the right side. So again, take this piece off. I've already showed you how to do that. Then you got your 7mm bolt. This pops right out. Remember, take it from the back side. Okay.
I thought it was 8.
This one right there is 7. And once you do that, so once you take this piece off, then you're gonna unscrew this, unscrew that again, 10mm. It's either 10 or an 8. Excuse me. It might be different on this one, but this is gonna fold down. Okay, because the cable again, the cable runs through, as you can see. Okay, and all it does, and it seems kind of far in the video, but it doesn't go that far. It literally just runs right there. This one is attached to a couple brackets over here. Okay, so we're gonna have to take those apart. But essentially, this part I've already done, so I'm going to take this apart, take it apart, and then we're gonna work on the part that we haven't seen yet. Okay, so you may run into it. So again, took this off. Took these two out. You may run into the fact that this actually has a clip on it. So just like every other clip, just put your thing in here, pull it out. The other one didn't have this. I don't know why this one did. I guess the other one maybe fell out. This one's more rusted though, which makes no sense. But yep, just pop that out. Again, this will raise up and then out the hole. And then it goes around to this clip, which again, take this wire off. And then that pops off exactly the same, and then I'll help you guys with the rest of it going forward. Okay, so, let's back it up real quick. Alright, so successfully got that piece off from there. Okay, and then next what you want to do, I'll zoom in a little bit, zoom in some more.
I thought I'd seen something different.
Next what you want to do is pop this one off. Super simple, it's just small tabs, just push tabs in, pull this out. Very careful with this though, very careful. Now, I was going to remove this one, but I want to give myself some more room so that I can get underneath this, okay? So, we're going to move over, and let me zoom out really quick so you know where I'm going here. I mean, it's simple. You follow the brake line. So, right here, okay, and you keep following it. And then in here, right there, that's where we're getting to, right there. So we're going to pop this one off first, and then we're going to pop this one off right here. Okay, super simple. Put the screwdriver in, twist. Okay, so now that we've made sure that all of the clips are off on both sides of the cable, this side and the other side, now we're going to work on this, okay? Hopefully I can just put this down right here. No, I can't. All right, great, wonderful. So we got to get, essentially, we just got to get the ball through that little hole right there and pull it out, okay? So first we got to get these off. These should literally just slide off, okay? I'm talking about the white and the black right there. It's a little slit. They should just slide right out, and then you get that off because we got to give them tension, okay? Gotta get tension off. Okay, so slight change. There's a hole. Didn't know this. There's 2 holes right there. Okay, the slots on either side. The cable slides into the slit, and then there's little plastic tabs that you push into the hole, and then they stop it from being pulled out. I just used my pliers and I broke off. I'm sorry if it's not focused. I just used my pliers and I broke it off. And then I just yanked it through. So now we're at the point now which is literally essentially you just, I think I can do this one hand, it's gonna be so simple. You push it forward and then you bend this and then you push it, you bend this so that the cable is set to go through the hole, and it literally, and I'm not kidding, just slides right out. Okay, I might have to, the cable doesn't really want to move, it doesn't surprise me. Oh, it's moving a little bit. Oh, you guys can't really see anything. So essentially I'm turning this like that, and then I'm going to push the cable into the hole and then pull it out, okay? And voila, it is out. And again, all I did was put the cable, pull it into the hole, and then pull it out. Now, instead of making it an absolute nightmare to get this out, what you're going to do is you're going to cut this bad boy right here and then just pull it straight out. Same thing on this side. Cut it, and then you yank the thing out, okay? All right, everybody, I'm back. It's the next day. 4 hours of phone calls, about 2 hours of looking online. Can't figure out why this cable right here wouldn't go on. I figured out why. So, hey everybody, what's going on? So I just want to pause the video really quick and it kind of give you a little bit more in-depth explanation. I apologize, I had forgotten that I was making a video about it, and I just started putting everything back together. So you want to start with the cable end that is connected first, that goes from that smaller area that's in the console. There's already a video online on how to take the console out, so I didn't show that. And so you want to start from the connected part, and you want the white on the passenger side and the black on the driver's side. And then you just, put the cable in and then put it into the hole, and then just run it back the same exact way that, all the way back to your brakes. And then I didn't show it, but you do have to take off the brake caliper, take the brake pads out, and then push in your brake squisher. And very slowly you want to turn it all the way until it compresses. And then once it compresses all the way, then you can reattach it, screw it back in, put your brake pads on, and then have both brake lines go up to it. So essentially, again, just copy and as you're pulling it out, kind of understand where it's going, and then just install it pretty much in the reverse. So again, where your two cables go into one, that goes in first, hook that up, and then pull it in. And then the second thing I wanted to mention is that before you put the cables on, you want to make sure your emergency brake is down. And if you want, you can unscrew one of the nuts, take that off. Be careful though, because if it falls, you're screwed. You're gonna have a really hard time trying to get the nut back. Second, you can unscrew it, and so that's your set screw in the console. And so you can unscrew it a decent amount of ways. I think I got about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch extra. Makes it a little easier to put your cables on. And then you can tighten it back up, put your second nut on, and then test it just to make sure it works. All right, if I see anything else, I'll make a note. Remember, this is what you had to do. And I apologize it took this long. I might just cut this and skip to this. But you have to compress both the brake calipers. So the ones on these 2013 Fords, you have to get the special die set right here. And this is what you use to turn them. The stock one worked for me. Got to put it on there, use this piece, and make sure to compress your brake caliper all the way. Once you do that, what you're going to figure out is that can be on there and actually pull it back a little bit and have tension, and this still rotates. It does that on both sides. I'll show you. I was actually putting a tire on until I forgot I was making a video for you guys, but this one rotates too. Okay, and just to show you, this is still down. The only caveat is I still didn't put on the other nut yet, and there's only one nut on there right now. I don't think you can see it, so that's the only caveat. I'm going to put these on, torque them, tighten them. I always do 100 115 foot-pounds on these. I race this thing sometimes, so I don't want it falling off. It's probably a little less, but I always do 100 115. My truck is always 150. And then obviously when you put this stuff back on, I highly recommend you put some anti-seize behind the rotor if you want to take that off. And then when you put this on, I always put anti-seize, and I'll show you it on this side. So you never want to get anti-seize on the threads, but I always put anti-seize here and in between each one of these, so that way it never gets rusted on ever again. Whenever I take this off, I also put it around the middle here. That way, because this is mainly the part that gets rusted, especially on trucks, that's exactly where it gets rusted, and it's a nightmare to get off. Now, whenever I do things, I always put a little bit of anti-seize on this stuff. It's silver. You can get it from O'Reilly's, AutoZone, whatever auto parts store you want, and it'll make sure that this never, ever, ever becomes a nightmare to take off ever again. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to put the tires back on, torque them, tighten them. I'm going to lower the car. I'm going to see if this worked. If it did, again, I apologize about how long the video is. So everything worked. It did take a little bit of tweaking. I had sat in the car and I sat on a hill, and not a big hill, but a smaller hill. And what I'd do is I would pull the emergency brake up and I'd let go of the brake, the actual brake, not the emergency brake. And then I'd see if the car rolled back. If it did, I'd stop. I'd put it in first gear, push the brake back on, and then I would torque and tighten the set screw. I'd keep tightening it just little bits at a time, and I would just keep doing that, pulling it and pulling it until I had proper pad adhesion to the rotors itself. I made my, so you can, depending on what you do, I made mine so that it just stops the car. If I was to be in traffic and I had to yank the emergency brake, it wouldn't lock up the brakes, but it would clamp them pretty hard where it would, I've tried it, it'll slow me down pretty quick. From my experience, I think part of the reason why the emergency brake failed was because I made it so that if I yanked the emergency brake, it locked them up no matter what speed. I used to do some fun things in the snow, and I think that was part of the reason why it snapped. So I made that small adjustment for me because I don't do that anymore. If you do, you know, have fun with however tight you want to make it. But everything works really well. I didn't have any issues. Both nuts went back on, no problem, and everything turned out good. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave in the comment section below. I will answer them to the best of my ability. I can make a video about it if you have any other questions or you want to see me explain anything more than that, and we can go from there. All right, take it easy, guys.